Hello everybody, welcome to Talking NASCAR with JB. I'm starting this channel because I love to talk about NASCAR. I've been a fan since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I just decided to try to spread my enjoyment of the sport some with everybody. And on this channel, we are going to be talking about current events going on right now in the sport, and also going to do special videos talking about some of the history of the sport and things like that. And probably Thursday night, the first video of a 3-part series I'm going to be doing is going to be out, called Does Winning the Daytona 500 mean season-long success? And we're going to go back to 1990, so it's going to be 30 years of history on the Daytona 500, looking at how well the winners did throughout the rest of the season. And the first 10 will be out Thursday night. But as far as today's video, we are going to preview the 2 drivers with the most eyes on them probably coming into this season. That's going to be Kyle Larson, coming back from what he went through last year after making his mistake on iRacing, and coming back with Hendrick Motorsports in the number 5 Chevrolet Camaro. And we're also going to talk about Bubba Wallace. He has a lot of eyes on him because of everything that went down in 2020. And I'm not going to get into any details about it because I'm not going to talk about politics or anything on this channel, so we're going to talk about strictly the racing thing. But he does have a lot of haters that believe that the only reason he is where he is because of the things that went down in 2020. But I do believe he has talent good enough to win, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to start off with Kyle Larson today. In his first season with Hendrick, he hasn't drove any type of NASCAR sanctioned race since Auto Club Phoenix last year in March before the pandemic. But he has been racing on dirt nonstop and has won over 50 races since last year. And just recently, this past weekend, won a late model race by almost 16 seconds and lapped all the way up to 8th place. But it's still going to be, I think there's going to be some growing pains with that team for a few weeks. Nothing to do with talent, but no practice and qualifying at most of these races. So I do believe they might be a little slow to come out of the gate, but I believe that after about 10 races, him and that 5 team are going to be really competitive, and I can see them winning 2 races to get into the playoffs that way. And they'll probably be in the top 10 in points also. But I say in the first 10 races, that Bristol dirt race is in there, so he might win one sooner than what most people would expect. And this is a huge year for Kyle because for years everybody's been saying he has the potential to be the next Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson. And his numbers doesn't show that, but I believe it's because of the equipment he's been in. And that's what most people believe. So, and obviously Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick believe that too, or they wouldn't have put him in that 5 car. So I do believe he's going to have a successful year, and he's going to set up a long-term career with Hendrick, and he's going to be a championship contender for the next several years. All right, Bubba Wallace. He is going to be driving for Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin with a newly formed 2311 Racing. So that right there just adds even more eyeballs on him. But he's got a fully sponsored car for the whole year. They got backing from JGR, TRD. They have all the tools they need to be successful. But at the same time, this is going to be a brand new team starting from scratch. I do believe there's going to be growing pains with him, and it has nothing to do with the potential the team has. But I believe the first several races are going to be tough, but I believe they will get it on track and start being competitive and finishing good. I do believe he'll make the playoffs, but on points. I'm not sure if he'll win a race because, unlike Larson in worse equipment, who was able to win, including Ford in one season in 2017, we haven't seen Bubba Wallace be able to win and since he won in a Truck Series race for Kyle Busch. I do believe there's a chance for him to possibly win, but I just don't see it happening. And that's going to put the pressure on him moving forward into next year for sure about what he's doing. But I do believe making the playoffs on points will happen, and that will help take some of the pressure off of him going into next year. But then by next year, he will have to win to keep that car and that team going. Between them two, I think those are going to be the two biggest stories to follow all year. They definitely have the most eyes because people are going to be wanting Larson to fail because of what he said. And then you got the same. There's a bunch of people that want him, that believe in second chances, that want to see him succeed. And then there's people that love Bubba Wallace, loves everything he stands for, and want to see him succeed. And then there's people that can't stand him, and they're going to be sitting there nitpicking every little thing he does wrong. So those two drivers by far have the most pressure on them, I do believe, this year. I think Larson has the advantage because he is with an established team, because the 5 is the 48 car from last year. And Jimmy Johnson in his last year had several races where he had probably winning speed and just made mistakes or got caught up in somebody else's mess. The first thing that comes to mind is the Darlington race, the first race after they came back from the pandemic. On the last lap of stage 1 was going to win the stage and wrecked on the back straightaway. And then finished second in the 600 and failed post-race tag. Was in contention to win, looked like he had possibly the fastest car at the end of Kentucky, wrecked himself on a restart, blocking Keselowski. Things like that is why I believe Larson has an advantage once he gets some experience built up with his crew chief Cliff Daniels. And like I said, I think Bubba Wallace in 2311 is going to be competitive toward the end of the year, and I think they'll get it going in time to make the playoffs. But unless he wins one of the Super Speedway races, I just don't see it happening this year. I will say this, for his own sake, he better win. I just don't see it happening. But if he doesn't win this year, next year is going to be a make it or break it year for Bubba Wallace. Because by next year, that team will have been around for a whole year. And with that equipment, there's no excuse for not competing for wins then. So if he doesn't win in that car, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year in that car, it's going to be bad. But I do believe he will, because I do believe he has talent. And he almost, in that 43 car, almost won well, it ain't the July race in Daytona no more, but the last race of the regular season at Daytona in August. He could have won that race very easily, and he almost won Talladega in October, so was right there in contention the whole race. I think a couple other stories to look out for is just all the change with new teams coming to the sport. One of them that I think is really big is Colleague Racing. They're going to have a multitude of drivers in their car. They're going to have Kaz Gralla running the Daytona 500, or attempting to run the Daytona 500. And then they've got AJ Allmendinger, who's going to run the Daytona Road Course in the second week of the season. And they're going to be trophy chasing on them road courses with AJ. And there's a good chance they can win because they'll have some good equipment, I'm sure. Because that team is upcoming, and I expect there to be an announcement for them running full-time Cup Series in 2022 sometime this year. And also Trackhouse Racing. That's a new team. That's something else to keep an eye on just because of all the publicity they've got going. But I just do not believe they have a driver that can win in the Cup Series. Daniel Suarez has drove 2 seasons for Joe Gibbs, couldn't win. Went to Stewart-Haas, lost his ride there. And then last year with Gaunt Brothers, absolutely struggled. I mean, Gaunt Brothers is no top-of-the-line team, but Daniel Suarez has not proven he deserves anything better than that right now. You know, he could shock us all. They have an RCR alliance, but I just do not see it happening. I have no faith in him, so everybody with Trackhouse, they may be building something great with a great team. But I believe to find out, they're going to have to, after a year, find a different driver because I don't think they'll see the results they want with Daniel Suarez behind the wheel of that car. That's going to be it for today's topic. And also, in future, me and my beautiful wife, Kendall, got lucky and made the cut. So we're going to be in Daytona for the 500. So in the future on this channel, there also will be some vlogs too of going to races, and possibly even when we are not going to races. At some point, we're going to have a little studio set up to do this. I say us because Kendall is by far the smartest person with the tech stuff, so she is a big help with that. To have any type of decent editing for these videos, I'm relying on her, so, and trying to learn. I'm not gonna go and try to cover every single headline during the season, during the off season coming into next year separately, because it's so close to the 500. What I'm gonna do with talking NASCAR with JB is we're gonna do a season preview of all the teams for the Cup Series, and may do 2 per episode just to get it caught up. And we're just gonna preview those drivers and what we expect from them. And then I might do a full playoff grid prediction before the 500. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. And once the season starts, I'll be on here giving my thoughts about the race. And then sometime before the next week, previewing the next week's race. And I'm going to try to do 2 to 3 episodes a week, because I can't sit here and do an episode every day and every breaking news article, because I do have a full-time job, so, you know, I ain't gonna have the time to do it every day, but I will try to upload 2 to 3 videos a day. And also be working on other videos into talking about the history of the sport, like the video that's gonna come out Thursday. So, we'll see you guys later.